8:55 Eastern Daylight Time, and Columbia and its affiliated stations bring you Elmer Davis and the news.
At the end of the most successful day in the German invasion of Norway, it seems probable that the Germans hold the railroad junction at Dombås, strategic center of the campaign south of Trondheim. A British War Office communique issued at midnight London time says the British resisted any further enemy advances in the Dombås area. It seems likely that they would have denied German claims of the capture of the town if they had been able. It was added, however, that new landings of Allied troops had been made, and this was taken in London as a denial of reports current there during the day that evacuation of all southern Norway was contemplated. The German victory was accomplished when the more northerly of the two flanking columns, striking over from the Öster Valley, made contact this morning with a force that had pushed southward from Trondheim. They met at Ulsberg on the railroad between Sturren and Dombås, and then pushed southward, while at the same time the German force operating in the Gudbrands Valley broke through the Allies at Quam and pushed on for nearly 30 miles. This very rapid advance was obviously made by a motorized column, and it is just possible that Allied reinforcements may come up in time to throw back weak German advanced forces. But the Germans seem to have been strong enough to push through today against what they admit was tough British opposition. It is not certain whether Sturren has yet been taken or not, but the British and Norwegian forces there are certainly surrounded. Until this town falls, the Germans, while they have established contact between southern and central Norway, can't use the easiest route. But Chancellor Hitler's order of the day to the German armies said they had conclusively nullified the Allied attempts to beat Germany to her knees. Elsewhere in Norway, there wasn't much fighting. Some action at Narvik with indeterminate results, and outpost actions north of Steinkjer in which the German advanced forces were thrown back. The British admitted the probable loss of 2 submarines. The Germans claim they sank more than that, and also refer to 6 other ships, perhaps transports, sunk by their bombing planes. But this report, made this morning, may be a duplication of yesterday's story. How much truth there is in these figures from the two sides will probably not be known till the war is over, if then. The British again raided the Oslo airport and obviously have a constantly increasing air force in Norway, but the Germans still have a bigger one. Today they made 6 raids on the British landing base at Namsos despite anti-aircraft fire, wrecking a destroyer and inflicting heavy loss of life. This according to dispatches from Namsos itself. Today's reverses stirred an angry popular reaction in Britain, especially after Prime Minister Chamberlain and War Minister Stanley, questioned in Parliament, said that it was not in the public interest to make a statement about the military situation. Sir Archibald Sinclair, leader of the Liberal Party, speaking at Edinburgh, criticized what he called the false prophets who tell us that Hitler missed the bus. He also referred to suspicions that the expeditionary force, concentrated to go to the help of Finland, had been dispersed before the Germans invaded Norway and had to be reassembled. And he added, I quote, "If the government have muddled this campaign, it will be for Parliament to act objectively, fearlessly, and resolutely in a grand inquest of the nation," end quote. Yet opinion in London seems to be that the Chamberlain ministry will probably survive even these setbacks. At any rate, the British government is preparing for the possibility of having to take on Italy, too. All British shipping, which has hitherto been using the Mediterranean as its road to the Far East, was ordered today to take the longer route around Africa on account of the threatening attitude of Italy, as manifested by the recent declarations of Italian leaders, the constant press campaign, and the unwillingness to resume trade negotiations with England. The British statement said it was hoped that this precaution about the shipping could later be abandoned, but there doesn't seem to be much ground for optimism in the present Italian attitude. The newspaper attacks on both France and England continue, and some people think the decision may be made at a cabinet meeting, which Mussolini has called for tomorrow. The first of Italy's new 35,000-ton battleships, the Vittorio Veneto, mounting 9 15-inch guns, went into service today, and a second will soon be ready. Russia is getting ready to celebrate May Day, and in anticipation, the Communist International has issued a manifesto which criticizes every great power in the world except Germany. The Communists insist that Germany invaded Scandinavia only to counteract Allied violation of Norwegian neutrality, and they throw all the blame on what they call the Anglo-French incendiaries of war. And the American bourgeoisie, according to the Communists, are stretching out their hands to Greenland, Iceland, and the West Indies.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.